Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Notes after a week break. Today we are talking about the brand new Captain America Brand New World movie. So it's the first MCU movie in 2025, so pretty high hopes with that. So we're just going to get started. So being the first feature film with Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America.
I mean, I'd say it was a decent... his acting was good in the movie, though I feel like his character just had like a... It almost felt like a rushed motivation, you know. It was like, oh, we can't think of anything. We'll just keep it on the back burner until we think of like the first thing that comes to mind.
Right.
Personally, I really liked it. I think for Anthony Mackie's first solo movie in Marvel, I thought it was pretty good. I thought his acting was a pretty good job.
I also thought he was pretty solid. Like, not really much you could ask for Captain America though, but he was pretty solid. I don't know if you guys watched the Falcon and the Winter, or was it Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Yeah. So that was like the little mini series they had before that, kind of like detailing his adoption into the role, pretty much. Yeah. So I think he's grown a lot as a character, and I feel like in this movie he was pretty good. Nothing much we could ask for, but would you say he lives up to the legacy of the new Captain America, or?
In the movie, they talked about that a lot. And I think he did pretty well. There was one in Wars, I guess. In the movie, what's his name? The Winter Soldier with that metal arm. Bucky, yeah. He gave him like a pep talk when Captain America's friend was in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Wait, you mean Falcon? The new Falcon?
The new Falcon, yeah. The new Falcon friend was in the hospital and gave him a pep talk about how you don't need the super serum to be super and be a good superhero, you know? And I think he lives up pretty well.
Yeah, I think he lives up as well. Like, I know there's some people who might like not like the fact that, you know, Anthony Mackie's the new Captain America. Some people are like not willing to move on. Yeah. But I think he fits pretty well. So, you know, Chris Evans would be proud.
I mean, people see nostalgia stronger than like, oh, hey, talent. They like to reflect back on nostalgia and think of it as better than just actually looking at like what's currently happening today and what's the current talent.
Right, exactly. So our next question is just, do we have any favorite scenes from the movie?
My favorite scene maybe would be the fight between the Japanese and American.
I was gonna say the dogfight too. That was my favorite. The dogfight.
Yeah, I know. There's really nothing other than obviously the final fight scene with Red Hulk.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was I'd say my second favorite fight.
CGI was a bit.
It was a bit
iffy. I guess we're going to get into that when we get into the final reception for this, but for me, it seemed like the CGI was off the walls almost. It seemed AI generated. Kind of like I'm going to call it the Mufasa syndrome, because that movie was entirely made with AI. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Whether or not this movie was made with AI, it felt that the CGI was just very visible. And you could tell that some scenes were CGI. Like the dogfight scene, they use a large amount of CGI. I think it's just very obvious, which
it's very obvious.
Kind of threw me out.
Yeah. Because older Marvel movies, I would say by older I mean like 2010s. It was a lot more attention to detail. It was, I would say, a lot more realistic.
I mean,
except with the exception of Endgame. Endgame was.
I was gonna say CGI effects weren't that great back in 2010, so they had to rely more on visual effects. That's what.
Do you think that could have factored into like kind of the sort of negative reception of this film? I mean, we're gonna look through it anyway, but do you believe so? Because I feel like a part of it is mainly story. It was a bit dry.
Yeah.
But also visuals. Like on par.
People, what I've noticed is like people like what is it? Practical effects more than they like CGI, because unless the CGI is done well, like in Dune, it's really hard. It's like really hard to like feel immersed when you can tell it's not meant to be in that universe.
Right, and that's why I still watch like older '80s movies, because like a lot of the special effects there are done like completely with makeup and like realistic stuff, so it looks way better. Yeah. So I always prefer those things. I don't really like the heavily CGI things that they're kind of taking it, because it kind of ruins the illusion, and also. I feel like artists should be able to express their talents more. Yeah, okay, so moving on. So what do we think about, we kind of went into it, but plot pacing and content?
I don't know. I was kind of doing for a loop, because at the beginning, it was at first, I thought it'd be like more espionage focused, similar to like the Cold War, like different spies and stuff like that, but... Because it kind of was like the sleeper agents in the beginning, Falcon, or Captain America's friend, I forgot his name, he used to be an old Captain America. Anthony Mackie's friend.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Who was it again?
And that old guy who helped train them. He was mind controlled during that. So,
Ross.
Me personally, I would have liked a more espionage, more Cold War-esque vibe throughout the movie, but it was still pretty decent. That's what I was expecting personally.
Yeah.
Like for me, like if like it just felt like some scenes were added in post and some were left over from like a different draft, and the pacing was just all over the place.
Yeah.
Because like in the beginning, you have this scene where it's like showing off, like, hey, this is the new Captain America. This is what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you took that entire scene out, the movie would not change.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to serve like the intro. The first scene is always meant to serve as the introduction to a movie, the introduction to the story, and here it is, just kind of like fumbling it.
Well, you got people. This is what I don't like about Marvel movies. It's like if you're not in the loop and you don't like subscribe to Disney Plus and watch like literally everything, you're gonna be missing out. Like there was references to Elementals, there was references to the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. There's references to previous Marvel movies, Avengers, Civil War.
You watched The Incredible Hulk. No one
or Incredible Hulk, the 2008.
Hulk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the leader is at, we'll talk about him. The leader is at the post credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to know the Incredible Hulk 2008 film to really know his entire backstory. Because I know I talked to you about it, and like you had no idea who he was. Like the weird alien guy. No.
Like I didn't know who was the what's his name?
The leader. Yeah.
Yeah. I had no doubt that was his name. I thought it was just.
But that's his official. His actual name is like the leader name Marvel.
There's just so much lore from Marvel.
Samuel Stearns. And so, do we have anything else to say about like plot points? Any other criticisms we would have? Like me personally, I just thought it was pretty dry. They could have done way better because they had way better movies.
Like as Kahlil said earlier, it was at first because like the intro scene makes it feel like you're just gonna watch like a kickback action, like summer blockbuster action film, and then it cuts into like this James Bond-esque like whodunit mystery film.
Yeah.
And then they just jump straight back into that action blockbuster. Oh, we're going full action this time. So it just jumps around like with the theming too much.
Yeah, they could have done way better. All right, moving on to the post-credits scene. So as I kind of alluded to earlier, we have Anthony Mackie's character, New Captain America, meeting the leader in the rafters, wherever that is. And then basically the leader was basically telling him he sees the future. He basically kind of like alluded to future Avengers.
The new threat.
The new Avengers films. We got Avengers Doomsday and then Avengers The Secret War.
Because this whole shtick was like, I can calculate every single possible outcome, and I have created in what my mind is the most probable outcome based on current circumstances.
Right. Very ambiguous, but you know, you do know the leader was behind Red Hulk, creating Red Hulk in Rock. So that was like kind of interesting to see him at the end there, but nothing else to add about that. Just hinting to two new Avengers movies. Yeah. Hopefully they won't be as bad. But I thought it would end after Endgame, to be honest, because after that they kind of split up.
Yeah, because it's like when you increase the stakes with every single movie, and when you finish at the end saving the physical universe, there's nowhere else to go. Like you can maybe save the multiverse a few times, but that gets stale. And at that point, that's a good ending point.
Yeah,
if they pushed like Endgame maybe a few years back, if they just like took the entire Phase 4 of it, you took Phase 4, threw it at the end, and then just pushed Phase 5 into Phase 4, you would have a perfectly more cohesive timeline.
I guess the reason why, like if I were to think that they want to do more Avengers movies, because like the big thing in Avengers Endgame, spoilers if you haven't seen it, Iron Man dies. Yeah. Right. But in Avengers Doomsday, we're supposed to have Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., who is Iron Man. So I feel like it's a multiverses thing that they're, multiverse, like a multiverse thing that they want to go with.
Personally, that I don't mind that they're still continuing after Endgame. I think it's cool. I just think it has to be done in a way that's tasteful and good, because like the past couple movies, apart like TV shows have been good, like them showing what's it called? Loki was pretty good. WandaVision, all those stuff that came out the event of Endgame, those were pretty good. But like the movies,
I mean, maybe if they took, I think if they, I mean, my personal opinion, what if you just took like the What If episodes and then just made those into feature-length films instead?
I feel like there would be a lot of backlash on that one. They could just because like, oh, it's not canon, or
I mean, like they could just say like, oh, it's not a canon film, it's like a spin-off movie.
It's a spin-off film, but they need money.
I think
it's a business.
That the episodes or the TV shows that they have at least are trying to set up for the future movies that they have.
Right, and they got to keep in mind, most of these people don't want to pay for $20 a month for Disney Plus or something, right? Yeah. Like, there's gonna be a lot of people who just go into these films not knowing what the heck's going on.
Yeah. So unlike before, where you could really just watch like 3 movies and you know everything.
Right. I think it was Infinity War. That was like the last thing I watched, like just not knowing anything about Marvel movies, I sat in there and it's like I was able to know immediately what was going on. I mean, sure, there was like the Guardians of the Galaxy I didn't really know yet.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy I didn't really know at the time, but like I didn't need to know the movies. Like kind of.
Yeah.
I just know they're together. And
yeah, because they brought the characters in, but they didn't realize it's like, oh yeah, you need to know that the Guardians of the Galaxy took one rock, and now the entire movie just happened because of that.
Yeah, so I would say Infinity War is really good. That's why Endgame turned out so good too, because like everyone watched Infinity War, like everyone knew what was going on, and that's why Endgame was so successful. But now, like Captain America, like with this one, not many people are gonna know or watch like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, thinking back, like Infinity War was so long ago.
2018.
We had the Area 51 raids.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Was that 2018?
That was 2018.
Oh, that's funny.
Along with, the Beanos and the Thanos truck.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's a core memory.
What do we think about the characters?
I like the characters. They're all pretty fleshed out. I really like Harrison Ford's character. And
President Ross.
President Ross.
Yeah, President Ross was pretty good.
His the mental battle that he had with his inner self, the Red Hulk, and how the leader basically tried to
coax him into like unleashing it earlier.
Yeah, coax him into unleashing it, and I like that inner struggle that kind of had. It gave a lot of depth to his character, especially if you didn't know who the Red Hulk is and didn't really know anything about it.
Yeah, I would have basically the same lines in that. Harrison Ford's character was really well done. Their internal struggle was good. The leader was also really good. You know, I mean, Anthony Mackie's character dynamic between him and Falcon, the new Falcon, even though the new Falcon was in the hospital most of the time after that.
Yeah.
But like that whole dynamic, and then Bucky coming in, that was like my favorite Captain America film was the Winter Soldier. So I like that.
No, that's like when I found out he was running for Congress, I was like, when the hell did this happen?
I think when they said that, they're also going to set up for the new Thunderbolts movie as well, because Bucky's in the Thunderbolts. And so I'm just really excited for that movie. I think it's going to be a really good Marvel movie. So.
Are there any other characters we're missing? Main ones.
One thing I wanted to see more of was Ross's daughter. I mean, the only time they actual visit was in the there was a phone call before the speech he gave out before he turned into Red Hulk. Yeah. And then there was another time where he was in the Raptors, which is the prison.
Yeah.
She came to visit, but other than that, it's more just you hear about her but not really see her.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, we should have it would have been really good for the story.
Maybe if you watched the 08 Hulk, then you probably would know more about it. But
yeah, the 08 Hulk, like that's such a niche movie.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of people really watched it, at least in our generation.
And if you did watch it, you probably forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like when it came out, I was what was it? When did it come out? 2008.
2008. You were.
I would have been 3.
Yeah.
At most.
All right, so now it's part of the show where we look through 3 of the top reviews on Letterboxd to see what people think, and then we discuss it. So, let's just talk about the mixed reviews because like all of them are like really trolly. All right. So officially, I just checked. The Captain America: Brave New World officially has 49% Rotten Tomatoes, which is extremely, extremely low for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Right. And what do you guys think about that?
I just feel bad for Anthony Mackie. I think it was a decent movie. His acting was good.
I would say
people love to hate. So
I would say that's a pretty fair rating. Like the actors were fine; they did a pretty good job, but the story and the script was just not there for this movie.
It does show underlying issues that Marvel has had for the past few years. I don't know what's going on. Same with Disney; like they're kind of the same way.
Maybe people are too used to Marvel making great hitter films like the Iron Man movies and the Spider-Man. Where all the Tobey Maguire and all the Spider-Man came back together. I think people are too used to like 10 out of 10 films, and so when Marvel comes and make a 5 out of 5 film, an average like
5 out of 5,
5 out of 10 film, something that's average, but it's not terrible. It's just an average movie.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. The storyline was dry. CGI was not there.
I could look past it.
I thought it would have gotten lower, but I'm surprised it even got 40%. But it was certainly flawed. I feel like the acting was really good. Yeah. It was sort of like it slotted into the MCU, kind of like okay, like if you like follow like if you're on top of things, but most people aren't. So I think that's a major ding with this film. But other than that, do we want to give final ratings out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
A 4?
Golly, maybe a 6 out of 10, or 5.5 or a 6 out of 10.
I'm giving a 3.
Golly.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the worst thing I've seen in the world, but it certainly was not
Yeah,
even average to
if I had
me.
to choose what movie out of the last year I had to rewatch 100 times over, if I'm still picking Dune, I think that's something great. Especially when Marvel did like such good movies beforehand. Dune.
Dune?
Dune.
You didn't like that movie?
I loved Dune. I'm saying if I had to
A lot of
rewatch,
people
if I
like
had to
Dune.
pick what movie in the last year I watched, I'd just keep picking Dune.
Okay.
Dune is a decent franchise, I will say, even though it's not my personal cup of tea. Like, I can appreciate the fact that, you know, it's there's a lot of effort that went into it. So, you know, I picked out of Paddington and Captain America, I picked this one, unfortunately.
You think it's worse? You think this is better than Paddington?
Paddington got 93% Rotten Tomatoes.
You didn't like Paddington?
I didn't watch Paddington yet.
Oh.
I'm watching it this weekend, which is going to be next week's Star Notes episode. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have some new faces in here. But other than that, that does it for this episode of Star Notes. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you guys have any comments about the Captain America film, or if you agree or disagree with us, be sure to let us know in the comments below. If you did enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like. That greatly helps us a lot. But other than that, we're going to see you guys next week with Paddington in Peru, which should be pretty interesting. Hopefully my favorites. But yeah. All right, guys. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.